don't see on here, right? All right, looks like we're up and going. Not sure if it's up on Facebook. I know, I'm just looking to see if we are on Facebook. It says live right now. So I'm hoping you guys can see us. But getting to the information, we want to make sure that you guys have all the information when we're discussing raw. It's been a while since we have done a live and been on here, so it's like, should be able to figure things out, right? There we go. Getting back there. All right. So, hi, Jody from Paws and Pet Essentials. Maddie, sitting here with me as well. Basically, as you guys see and have known, August is August. August is, we want to talk about education on not just raw food. So we want to talk about nutrition, hydration, and what are the best things for our pets and how can we do the best for our pets. And we understand everybody's on a different budget and we want to be able to assist everybody no matter where they are. And I just had talked with my training class last night about food and the importance of, hydration. There's some simple things you can do. But a lot of us forget about our cats. And they're just easy. They don't complain, they don't do things. So we wanted to kind of just target in on them today. And feel free to ask questions. I will have my comment section up. But we are hoping that you guys will take a little bit away and understand how important it is. So first thing I want to start off is your cat's wild cousins, as we know, the ones that are out in the wild, or the feral cats, get their moisture from their prey, which are usually mice or birds, not water bowls. They'll get some moisture from that, but that is not where their main moisture comes from. That's why cats fed dry food are at a higher risk of kidney and urinary issues. I mean, you guys have cats, people, you may have an issue with one. We have Chili here with us today. And she comes in once a week, so you can always stop in and visit her. But they're at risk of kidney issues and urinary issues because of the lack of hydration. Raw food, real hydration, moisture-rich meals support the organ health and prevent problems. Who right now, she loves her freeze-dried, as you can see.
It really also helps kind of go after their natural instincts. They are prey animals.
They like their hunting. They like to go find and get things. Even freeze-dried options, which is what Chili is eating right now, will have some more hydration than our kibble. And you can hydrate. And that's the other thing. People go, well, I don't know how to do. Okay, so you can do your kibble. Cats don't really eat well if you add water and stuff to kibble. You could try, but usually they don't. But you can take your freeze-dried. You could add this bone broth. Nulo has these handy packets that you just open, pour on, and with a cat you may need to refrigerate, but generally it's a small portion, so it's easy to use. And you'll add some more hydration to it. I mean, yes, they can eat it plain. You can crumble it up.
I'm just giving her as treats, so I'm not hydrating it. But when she gets it in her bowl in the morning, I soak it for 15 minutes prior to her eating.
Super easy. And, the other thing most people are used to doing is canned. Canned works well. It's already hydrated. It has the moisture. There's usually, and you can hear, they're more liquid. You want the ones with more liquid so that they can get the more hydration. But then they're getting that from their food. So also, the other thing is important to point out is chronic dehydration is one of the leading causes in cats of having kidney and disease. And we get a lot come in that they are in kidney failure or having issues. Raw food contains 75% moisture. Do you know how much kibble contains? It does have some. 10%. That's not a lot of moisture. That's just like you taking your cereal and eating it and then going, I'm good for the day because I had my food. I mean, I don't know about you, but I prefer, when I eat steak, there's moisture in there. your beans, your vegetables, your fruits. There's all moisture inside that. You're not just living off of, cereal, granola bars, because if that's all you ate,
Dried rice.
if that's all you ate, you would be dehydrated yourself. And it's more of a struggle for cats to drink water out of a bowl. Do you remember the figure on that?
It takes 2,500 licks to get a quarter cup for a cat. So they have to work really hard to get as much moisture as they would get out of a bird.
So that's why you hear a lot of people, or when you go to the vet and they're like, if they're not drinking enough, they're not hydrated, try a fountain that's moving. Those are all encouraging that. That still takes a lot of work for them to hydrate through just drinking. So we want you to look at it and go, how can I make the best benefit? And I know one other thing I got as a vet tech, you're like, oh, we shouldn't feed canned. Yes, this is 30 years ago. So it may have changed now, and I'm hoping so. Can't feed canned. It's going to add tartar onto their teeth. You give kibble, it's going to keep their teeth better.
So if I eat Cheetos or my Doritos,
yeah, Doritos
I
are
don't
rough
have to
and
brush
crunchy.
my teeth?
Right, because eating your hard crunchy, or if you just eat cereal, that should clean your teeth for you.
Well, that's good to know.
Right. So no brushing for you guys if you eat dry cereal in the morning. Does that sound about right? Probably not. That would not be beneficial.
You guys are going to think we are full of bahooey.
Right. So adding moisture, adding canned food is not going to cause them to have more tartar and plaque. That is a myth. So start thinking about your cats, their hydration. What can you do? How can you make things better for them? So some of our things are, like we said, add bone broth. We also in here have goat milk, which cats love. You can put just some in the bowl and they can drink that way. Add it into their dehydrated. What else can you do to add hydration besides doing kibble?
Well, one of Chili's favorite snacks. She is my cheese girl. And she also struggled with some urinary health previous to when I got her. So she actually does the Solutions urinary cheese. She does not currently have any issues, but knowing she's more prone to it, we use the urinary formula, and that's where she gets it. She loves anytime I crack open that fridge, she's right there. She either wants her cheese, knows that her freeze-dried is in their can.
So that adds your hydration. The cheese is going to add some extra hydration. So you can do it simply. But, okay, Maddie, what we get a lot is my cat's picky. As we all know, cats are super picky. So how am I going to get them to eat raw or dehydrated? They've only had kibble. They're not going to.
I struggled the same way. I have 2 other cats at home that were both raw fed, started them as kittens. So I think one thing I like to mention is it's very important to start your kittens off with different textures, different things, and get them used to it while they're more open. But Chili, when I rescued her, she was like, kibble, that's great. Pour me my kibble all day long. Occasionally we do a pate. So I started off by just mixing in different textures of can, really getting her to expand her palate on a canned food texture level. So we went from pate to a pate and shred mixed can. Started adding some goat milk into it and worked our way up to freeze dried. The less I put in her actual bowl and used more as a game, because cats, again, they really like to hunt and find. So if I just placed it on like a paper plate or on a bed or on the counter, she especially loves when I feed her on the counter.
There are some of those things, and I remember that back from when we had Joel came in and he was trying to get his cat on raw food. What he would do is he'd take a spoon and he'd go put it in different places, because as cats, when they think that's not supposed to be for them, they're willing to try things. So making it more of that game and hiding some things around, putting some of the freeze-dried around, or putting some of the canned or frozen on a spoon and put that in different places for them to go find. Those are ways that you can have them enjoy and kind of seek it out. They might not. If you've only had yours on kibble, it may take a while. And I would probably say try can first. Move from there. We are here to assist you and to make sure you make good choices. There are a huge variety of different cans.
And textures. Cats, more than flavor, are texture picky. So by mixing up those textures, we have brands such as Northwest Naturals that are going to be more of your nugget style, as well as Savage Cat that's going to be more of this shredded. Yeah, does that look good? It's too frozen right now.
But
and temperature. So while our dogs might enjoy something cold and right out of the freezer, cats typically want it more at room temperature. And when it's warmer, it also has more of a smell to
aroma
it for them.
Yeah. So you guys can, because this month, if you buy 10 cans, we are giving you 1 pouch while supplies last, but we're giving you a pouch so you can take it home and try little pieces and work on getting them there. I would probably break this up and then give little pieces, unthaw little pieces. 7 days for the whole thing unthawed, but I probably would try to break this and keep half in the freezer and then bring the other half to slowly introduce it to them. But the other thing is skin and coat and digestion. Raw-fed cats often have softer fur, healthier skin, and fewer hairball issues. Why? Good question, right? Fresh fats, amino acids, and natural enzymes support their gut and coat from the inside out. You need to feed the inside to go on the outside. Their skin is their biggest organ. Excuse me, dry throat. Adding some hydration like goat milk, bone broth, or even a high quality canned food, you are going to see greater results. Freeze-dried meals with our Northwest Natural Vital Essentials become digestible and hydrating when reconstituted properly. So there's many ways, but it also affects more. We are talking about the kidneys and urinary issues. Okay, now we're talking about their skin and coat and digestion.
Well, and extremely important for cats being obligate carnivores. They don't have the ability to break down the grains and the veggies the same way us humans do. Have you ever looked at the way their teeth are shaped? I don't know that you'll be able to see Miss Chili's teeth here. I can open them for you. They're sharp. They're spiky. So they're ripping and tearing. They're not chewing. So they're not able to mash up their food to get it to expose those amino acids and vitamins the way that we might. So having them more readily available through their natural diet of meat, but then it also has good taurine in there, which is essential for cats and their heart health. Sphinx in particular have a high rate of heart health issues. So for me, it's really imperative that if I want Chili to have a long life, that she's going to need that meat, that organ meat. Organs feed organs.
Yes. So when you're thinking about feeding your cat, and I know it's easy. Yeah, put some kibble down and you feed them. However, I think a majority of our cats are overweight. Why? Because we just throw kibble in a bowl. We don't measure it out. It is a challenge. It is more thought process. Dogs, we generally, which we all should be doing, is feeding a certain amount, measure out the ounces, and that's what they get each meal. Cats, we just kind of fill their bowl and let them eat. And, you look at them and you're like, okay, well, they're a little heavy, but cats are heavy. But we should have our cats in better weight. We should maintain what they're doing and think about how much we are feeding them. Pay attention to how much food goes in their dish. And speaking of dishes, did you know that cats get whisker fatigue? And you guys are probably thinking, oh, what? They use their whiskers for the senses. Let me go grab a bowl. Do you want to go over a little bit? Which
she has no whiskers.
She has no whiskers. But
so she is able to eat out of better bowls, or any kind of bowl rather, versus my 2 Bengals at home that have full whiskers. So they use their whiskers to sense. That's where they sense where they can fit. They will typically not go in spaces that their whiskers would hit. So that kind of tells them, nope, you can't go in here. It's not big enough for you. So when eating in a dish that is enclosed, their whiskers are going to hit, which is going to send messages to their brain saying, hey, don't do that. Well, why would you want to eat when something's constantly telling you, stop, stop, stop? It sends mixed messages. So in this bowl, being flat and wide, their whiskers aren't going to hit the sides of the bowl. So they're not getting that stop message.
Yep. Here's another one that just has an automatically tilt to it. They're higher up, which works well as well to do that. There are other bowls. There are other interactive things that you can do. Lick mats work for them, that you can spread their food on there and they have to lick and get things off. So there's more ways to work with these guys. And
feed them in a puzzle. I have several deep puzzles, so they have to use their paws to scoop it out. If you've ever watched cats play with any of their prey or toys, they bat it around. That's very natural for them.
So putting some of that natural instinct back in, get him active. They don't walk to a bowl and just get their food. Put their, it's going to be easier if you only have cats. If you have dogs, you might have to do this on a separate level or where they can't get things. But having them set out in different places where they can go off and grab food and find different things is going to make it more fun for them, more adventurous. And they're not going to have that lazy couch potato that just sits there and then goes to the bowl and then a litter box and goes and lays down. You need them busy. You need them active and doing things. And that's
you
important.
Said litter box. You know what also happens in that litter box?
Well, they use it, correct?
And normally it has a huge aroma to it. It's extra smelly. Your raw fed cats are going to decrease in smell and in size of the litter box.
Yes, that is definitely true. So even adding canned, freeze-dried, raw, it makes a huge difference. I mean, my cats they get some freeze-dried, they also get some canned, but they also have the Firmina cat food, the dry, and they have the smallest poops. And it's not these big, huge ones. I will tell you guys, if you have kittens, you're going to have big, smelly poops because their digestive tract is not fully working and more protein comes out, which makes it really smelly.
But it is short-lived.
Yeah. As they get older, it gets better. But that's another point is, feeding raw or freeze-dried or adding hydration, you're also going to have smaller poops and less smelly.
Most think, well, if I start adding canned, that's like a treat for them. Isn't that going to actually add weight? Well, I think your cats, Jody, are a huge testament to why that works.
Yes, because
I can't believe you never fed canned to your cats before.
And I'm guilty. It's like, it's easy. I can put the food down. We had dogs, we have cats, super busy and trying to figure things out. And it's like, okay, my two inside were overweight. I can definitely. So we started tracking and feeding. So
based on a Firmina food plan. So we sat and entered your cat's weight, their age, and figured out what they should be eating and how to put them on a gentle weight loss plan. Because you don't want to do it too quickly. But
correct. And they did look at the weight food and kind of like, but as we started adding canned, cutting back the dry, adding the canned in so that there was a better mix and adding more moisture.
It has been 4 months.
Yeah.
And your female cat has lost 1 pound, 8 ounces.
Which is huge. That is a huge amount of weight. And you can tell that they're starting to slim and look good. I mean, I fed them a good food. And they were doing well, and it's like, they're good, but yes, they're overweight. They do go out and mouse and catch and get their own prey. But we added the canned, started measuring and putting in, so you reduce the kibble, add the canned, and we can figure that out for you. We have a program that helps figure out if you're going to add other items to it, the kibble, to the canned, to raw, that will help it go, okay, this is what you need to be feeding. And you can stick to it so that they're at a better weight. Generally, raw fed cats will maintain the right weights.
And most of this applies to dogs too, right, Jody?
It does. It definitely does. And I can give you a testimonial to that. I'm like, I should have taken a picture this morning, but I'll have to post one up. Some of you guys remember Tobias from out at the resort. He is my Mastiff Pit Mix, and he just turned 18. And he gets up and down steps, he gets squirrely and runs around. And I mean, he's had his health struggles because at 3 we had such bad allergies, I didn't know what to do with him. So we had an intolerance test done. It told me what worked to feed him, and he was on raw since he was age 3. And huge difference. His feet didn't blow up, his ears didn't blow up. He didn't have all these issues here and there because there's outside allergens like right now ragweed, and those are affecting our dogs. But what you're going to find is he has better health and better way to handle different things. So I mean, I think it's a big testament to raw goes well. It does not eliminate all problems because there's still outside interference with things.
But bioavailability is huge for these guys. If their body knows how to process it and use it, it's going to use it efficiently. And they're not just going to waste it, or in their case, poop it out.
Yeah, no, they're all excited in small poops. But it is one of those. And feeding a senior, we had to work a little differently because his body needed more nutrients and he wasn't processing as well, even though we have him on different enzymes and that. So, we have to adjust his feeding as he's aging to kind of maintain where he needs to be. So feeding cats raw, you can feed dogs raw, you could go part, add just a little bit. We want this to not be scary, but what we want, I think our whole goal for our whole staff here, Dreen, our rawgust, basically awareness of nutrition and health.
Yeah, we're just here to elevate their lives so they live as long as possible.
Yes.
I wish I could get my cats and my dogs to live forever. So anyway, we can help take that average of a 10-year-old and make it longer. It's a great day in my book.
It definitely, and the thing about just adding some can to your dogs, adding it into licking mats, adding kombucha, bone broth, goat milk, any one of those are going to elevate and add the hydration to them. They're more bioavailable, like Maddie was talking about. They can get more of the nutrients right away. The body can utilize it instead of having to work to break things down. And that's the other part, okay, your budget's limited. And it's like, I got a better quality kibble. I stepped up my kibble. I can do that. Well, add water. Add water to start breaking it down before they eat it. Or bone broth. And just by breaking down the kibble, it becomes more available for them to eat. So that's one thing you can do that's not going to cost you a whole lot. The second thing we tell people is you could change out 20%. So you just take a little wedge of your bowl, and that's where you put some freeze-dried.
So this is not an all or nothing.
No.
Every little bit is going to go.
Yep. Going to get a cat wanting to eat in here. Freeze-dried. So those are options that, even if you just put it in without hydrating, you're giving them more hydration. Also, hydrating and adding more into.
And if any of this sounds scary, come in and talk to us. We can help you set up feedings. We can give you.
And how much to feed. If even dog, cat, and you're like, I don't know, I think my dog's overweight, my cat's overweight. I want to start feeding better because the more weight that they're carrying, the harder it is on their organs. And that one people forget about, that their organ health. The second thing is, we all know it's harder on their joints. You don't want to have these issues down the road of joint problems. We get 7-8-year-old dogs that have a hard time getting up and down. It's like, well, we shouldn't. So we want to make sure that we're at the right weight, and that comes with you guys feeding the right amounts. And the staff here can sit down with you and go through and say, yep, my dog is 30 pounds, but his ideal weight might be 25. We have a scale. We can weigh them. We can come and set up portions and help you feed them correctly. And then you can come in and keep weighing them and find out where they're at.
Then I have one challenge for you guys this month. Find out the correct portion. Make sure you are feeding them the correct amount. Not just at the amount of which they currently weigh, but at the weight they are supposed to weigh.
Correct. And the best way to feed them is going by how many ounces they should eat. We also have one that helps calculate the total calories that your dog should have. There's a formula to figure out what calories, because hate to tell you this, most of our dogs, cats, are considered couch potatoes. But do you know what the level of food on the bag you should be feeding is set for what level? Active. Guarantee you a majority of people do not have active dogs. And what is their active? That they have to be running and moving over 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, are you out there for over 4 hours running and working your dog? Maybe the ones that are doing herding, the police dog that do a lot of work and running and constantly going. But even them, when you go and practice agility, you're doing that a couple nights a week. You're running some, you're not doing it every day constantly.
And all breeds are not the same.
No.
Again, I will just kind of point to Chili here. With her being a Sphynx and not having any hair to stay warm, she metabolizes faster. So if I fed her strictly based on the fact she weighs 6 pounds, she would not be happy with me for not feeding her very much. But I would not be feeding her appropriate amounts of food because she burns it faster. She requires more calories than my average domestic short hair.
Right. So that's another part to take in consideration is, how much they burn. And it just doesn't mean, and I can pick on pugs because I have one. I've had several pugs. People go, well, pugs are just fat. They just always have a tendency to be overweight. Yeah, they do, but because we feed them too much. They are talking, I know they're working on figuring out a better way for you to know how much to feed your dogs. But right now, if you took your bag, you had a 30-pound dog, you take your 15-pound bag, and for what they tell you to feed each month, your dog would gain 3 pounds. And it's like, that's a lot over time. And maybe it would only be a pound, but the studies are finding that they could gain up to 3 pounds a month just for your 30-pound dog with their 15-pound bag of food because of the way it's calculated on there.
Cups are less accurate than ounces.
Yeah, and I know it's kind of a pain, but once you figure it out, we actually made a chart. We have it up on our cupboard, so I know that Vivian gets 2.5 ounces twice a day, and 1.2 ounces is what Iris, my pug, gets. So we have it figured out what they get and each meal. So it's easy. I don't have to try to go back and remember. And then we'll weigh them again, make sure their weight's still staying the same, and then do a recalculation every couple months just to make sure.
Because Vivian's only a puppy, so it's going to keep changing.
Yes. So hers keeps going up. It goes up, but then it's going to come back down a little because once she stops growing, she's not going to need as many calories. So that's something to take into account for too. So we're hoping, this kind of helped you guys understand raw is not scary. You do not have to dive in and go, all right, I'm going all raw. I've got my patties. This is what I'm feeding them, because your cats will not be happy, nor will your dogs, because this is something new. So you need to introduce it gradually and work through things. But it also eliminates a lot of issues. I mean, we have testimonials of people coming in and my dog was having seizures. We couldn't figure it out. I switched them off onto raw food, so there's no other preservatives and stuff in it. And the one hasn't had seizures for over 5 years. So good things can happen. Reduces skin issues and irritations. It's just a better way. They look healthier. Their skin, their coat, and all that is healthier. So if you're looking to add a little, we're here to help. Stop in.
So Jody, tell me, why is August a great month to get started?
Why? That's a good thing. If you haven't been following our Facebook page, we are really trying to promote that. So we have a bingo card. You have 2 weeks left to work on filling it out. But there's different things you can purchase on here, and it's not all raw.
Cheese.
That's what Maddie talked about earlier. Works for dogs and cats.
Savage Cat. So some of our Savage Cat items. They also have raw duck heads and feet or quail eggs.
Right. So you can fill this out. Once you get the down, you will get one of these amazing freezer bags. Works great. You can come in and buy your frozen, your goat milk, your yogurts, your bone broths, or you go to the grocery store. They are very large and they zip the top. They also fold back up. Thanks to our Northwest Naturals that worked with us with this. So you will get one of those. Or if you come in and buy 3 Northwest Natural products, a frozen, different frozen products, and then you will win a bag. And keep watching because sometimes randomly I say come in and get a frozen item and you will get a bag. If you go across, you will then get one of our little cups, which apparently they've been
Popular.
going. Yeah, they've been going across. They're the ice cube balls that you can put in. But we got those. You can use them for your drinks, which is fine. But we've done them so you can add freeze-dried. You can add different treats inside there. And then you take it out. It's a frozen treat for them guys that they can go and take and play outside. So this is it. It's just like the ones you guys use. It seals really well. But just put in some of your freeze-dried, add your water, put it in the freezer, and then you have a treat for them. So you get a crust, you get that. You get a blackout, you get entered in for our cooler filled with, so it's about almost $500 worth of products. So once you get these all filled in, you will go into the drawing for that. And like I said, it's not hard. In a couple of weeks, you can have this filled yet. So if you don't have one, stop in because we like handing out goodies. And then when you get more across and down, we have other ones that tell you what are good fridge foods that you can feed. What are foods that will help you with different issues. So we have a couple different magnets that we're also giving out when you get other bingos. So you don't go, well, I got my one. We also have deals on freeze-dried.
Northwest Naturals, freeze-dried or frozen, $8 off.
Mulo, we have $5 off the smaller bags, $10 off the bigger bags. So great time to stop in and pick it up and try it. If nothing else, use it for treats so you're adding some hydration.
We have a clearance going on as well. Sometimes we place our orders and it doesn't quite go as planned. And we end up with an extra truckload of food. So our oops is your game. But this is a great way for cats, especially really focusing on these guys, to try some things. It's a little less of an expense. We've got broths, we've got toppers, we've got complete can for just babies, seniors. A great way to start introducing those different textures, hydrations, and stay on a budget.
So you guys, you're like, if we piqued your curiosity at all and you're like, you know what, that sounds interesting, I'm going to give it a try and start adding something, stop in. The whole staff here can help you go, okay, let's just add this little piece. Let's work with what you have, your timing, how busy you are, what your budget is. We can help you with everything because our goal here at Paws In is to make sure your pets live a long, happy, healthy life. All right, so we will be on one more time next week to go through different things on our next topic. And Chili's back after running around. So hopefully this gives you guys some insight, and we will see you guys soon.